This is my reaction to episode 6, Secret Genius. This whole show about, can we find this genius? And is it a secret, or do they know that they're smart? And can we tell and can we guess whether somebody is really smart? And I think that was the question that really interested me, is, are they being missed? Are they going through a whole educational system and nobody is spotting them, and they don't know themselves that they're this genius? It's that secret part that really intrigues me. Anyways, getting back to the reaction part of things. Oh, my name's Joanne. Getting back to the reaction part of things, I was really interested this week to see their reaction, specifically Amy, when she did the first challenge. And it was like she was giddy with excitement. And she did that piece to camera where it was like, it was as if this game was made for me. And she also referenced that it was a logic game. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting, because it's given me an indication that she knows that that kind of challenge works best with her kind of brain and her kind of intelligence. And also, I tell you what I was thinking is, Amy was one of those ones that seemed very humble and seemed to have a lot of self-doubt. And yet, when I was rewatching the program, she was saying that at school, people were saying that she was smart. So there was some sort of disconnect about, she didn't particularly believe it, or it didn't sit comfortably, or she wasn't sure what being capable meant. Did it just mean in an average way, you're capable and you should be looking to go to university? Or did it mean something extra on top of that? And I think that was where the disconnect was coming from, because she clearly had been spotted at school and been singled out for being smart. And then she's a pharmacist, so she's gone to university, she's done all of those things. But there was definitely some self-doubt and a gap. So I think it's about smart and then super smart. I think that's where the gap was with her. But as I say, it was so lovely to see her so giddy and excited, and that sense of, I have done my best. And I think that was what I wished for her. And I was kind of hoping that the games that were going to be chosen for the final would bring out the best from them. That was the criticism about episode 5. It was like, well, some of this doesn't feel fair. Some of this feels like it's just luck of the draw who you're paired with. And some of it was about testing how they react to panic and the pressure. I was like, we didn't really want to see, I don't know. I didn't really want to see just those kind of challenges. I wanted to know if, what does a genius look like, and what their journey and transformation, and does it matter to them? And the next thing I was going to talk about was a comment that Alan said about, it's really great when you can see it click with them. Now, he was talking about, in the show, it clicking and having that light turned on. And it reminded me of teaching, in that sometimes you can explain something and you get a blank look back. And then sometimes you just choose the right words, and it is literally like having a light turned on, and then it's obvious. And for me, when I'm teaching, if somebody says, oh, it's obvious now, and in hindsight, it's obvious, that is the highest form of compliment. That as soon as they see the solution and the answer, that's easy, that's obvious. I was talking to somebody on LinkedIn, and he wanted to know about the cartoons, and I think he wanted to illustrate his ideas. And I said to him, well, what's your goal? Is it that you're illustrating your ideas to communicate and the other person understands, or is it as a self-expression? Because those are different goals. They may overlap, but they're different goals. And he used those exact words. He wrote back to me and he said, oh, yeah, it's obvious. And that makes all the difference. And now, as he's deciding how he wants to illustrate and express himself or communicate, he's got that in mind. And he said that was the most useful thing that I said to him out of all of it. So even though I wasn't watching his face and seeing him light up, it made my day that he put that into words of, it's obvious now. And I think people underestimate. I know people poo-poo teach. I keep using the phrase poo-poo. I don't know why. people look at teachers and say, oh, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? I think that moment when Alan said, isn't it amazing when you see them get it and then their face lights up, that is something that is true to that teaching experience. And it's a really fabulous moment there. I wanted to highlight that. Let me move to the next one. Understanding your own intelligence. This kind of links back to Amy when she said, oh, it's a logical puzzle. It's made for me. This idea that she knew that going in. Did she know it at the beginning of the competition? I'm not sure she did, but she seemed to be more vocal and more confident about just knowing what her skills were. And for me, what was interesting is that she had the language to express it. So it wasn't like she went in and she saw the task or the challenge and she thought, oh, this is for me. She actually had the vocabulary to say, this is a logical puzzle. This is logic. I'm good at that. Da, da, da. So there's multiple things going on there. And I think for me personally, one of my interests is the value of, can you name it? Because then once you name it, it's something concrete to hold on to and you can move and explore and do different things. I'm not sure if that's making sense to you. I think it's that the fact that she named it and said it's a logical puzzle. And I was thinking, I think that's more concrete for her to hold on to rather than, oh, this seems easy. This seems to appeal to me. Some sort of vagueness in terms of confidence. I keep saying to people that once you have the language, once you can name it, you've got something concrete to hold on to, then that gives you that stability. That helps your nervous system calm down. And then you can go on and conquer the panic and manage all of that. I think that's something that people massively underestimate. They think that they're working on controlling their nerves and their panic and their nervous system rather than naming the skills. Even if you're naming, this is my strength and this is my weakness, once you've named it, that's fixed, isn't it? That's something that you can hold on to. So I was really interested that she could name it, and also that seemed to give her the confidence. I think it was more than just, oh, I'm good at this game, therefore I feel confident. I think there was something about she could actually have that inner dialogue with herself of, this is a logic game, you're good at logic games, let's go for it. Oh, anyway, I haven't mentioned all the others. I was really interested to see how all the others were, and I really didn't know who was going to win because, as I say, in the episode 5, it wasn't just about intelligence, and not that I could tell who had the highest IQ anyway. I was only kind of guessing, just like the rest of us, as what does a genius look like? And the whole premise of the show is this idea that it's a secret genius. So it might not look like what we think a genius is supposed to look like, and might not have had the school and the background experience that says, oh, you're smart and you're picked out and different things like that. So I was really, really interested. I think one of the things that was almost kind of the cherry on the cake for me, I was wondering who's going to win, but also what happens next? What does this mean to people? What changes this? So the winner was Nathan. The second person was Amy. Really interesting to see that at the beginning, Nathan said the one that he's watching, the one that he's seeing as competition is Amy. And it kind of made me think this idea that somebody's a secret genius or what do they look like? If others can't see your genius or that you have all this capability, is it possible that others with this kind of high IQ can spot you? And I thought it might be that the average person can't spot them, but is it possible the fact that Nathan spotted Amy as being the key competition? I thought that was just an interesting little tidbit. But cherry on the top was at the end, they did a little bit of text on the screen saying 14 of the contestants from the show have gone on now to join Mensa. And now they didn't tell us all of the results, which I was kind of curious about because it would have been interesting to know if one of them stood out as being the top IQ that had not got through to the final. But they did say the final order, we had Nathan at the top in terms of the IQ number. Then we had Amy, then we had Selena, and then we had Nick. And that was the final. And that was how they, Nick and Selena had been knocked out first, and then Amy came second. And I thought, that's so strange, because I was so critical of this whole process about, you're not going to find the highest IQ person. You're going to find the person who can manage the stress and the panic, and, and also that one pairs game just kind of nerked me a little bit. So it was so clean, and that they were actually in order for the final. Obviously, we don't know the rest of the contestants, the other 10 that are in Mensa. I thought, is it luck? Is it luck that the results of the show revealed the person who had the highest IQ? Or is it that a high IQ seeps through into other things in terms of your tactics and how you play the games and how you figure out along the way about managing your time and your nervous system and calming yourself down? Because Nathan has been strong all along, according to my memory, but definitely in this, he was saying, don't do the mistakes that I did before. Don't keep second guessing yourself, because time is important. You must do this. And it was almost like he'd learnt over the series of the competition that there was some weak spots. And I thought, well, is that an intelligence thing? Is that an experience thing? Clearly, he's had that inner conversation with himself of, this is one of my weak spots, and that's what I'm going to work on. But anyway, final conclusions. I was super, super excited to see Amy get through to the top 2. Kind of hoping she would win. Mainly because of, I think that if you'd have met Nathan and Amy together, you would have, in terms of the stereotypes, said, oh, Nathan maybe is the smarter one. And I wanted to push back against that. I wanted to be that it would be somebody that you would meet and wouldn't know was a genius based on all the stereotypes. You wouldn't look at and say, oh, wow, she's a genius. You'd just say, hi, she's nice, she's friendly, and different things like that. So now for me, like I say, it's what happens next. And it's clear these are not ruthless competitors. These are people who try to figure something out for themselves. And I'm just so curious what happens next, and whether that impacts how they show up for themselves. And I think a few of them did say about backing themselves. I really hope they back themselves and can be giddy with excitement and enjoy playing and pushing themselves and being curious and learning new things, and going off into the world. Take care. Bye.